Hey everyone, I'm going to be going over the Saints and Panthers game from week one. It is currently Saturday night. I'm going to try and get this posted for tomorrow before tomorrow's game against the Cowboys. Yeah, I'm going to get into things. First, I want to start off by saying a little different setup. If you haven't seen the Eagles video, then I understand. Uh, but different desk. I'm going to try and might see some changes with some of the photos. Obviously, you see a lot of Eagles stuff. I do live in the Philadelphia area. I'm about an hour away from Philadelphia. Um, so I get a lot of Philadelphia stuff from family members and friends, so that's why you see more stuff. But I do have Saints stuff. I have my Saints Drew Brees autographed jersey hanging up. I'm staring at it. I can grab it right now. Autographed Saints mini helmet from by Drew Brees, not from Drew Brees. That would have been awesome though. And I have my new Morton Anderson jersey that I'm not wearing. So I do want to say that a lot of I'm not going to be wearing jerseys in any of the Saints or Eagles recap videos because frankly, I believe I have bad luck with jerseys. The first jersey I ever got was Donovan McNabb Eagles jersey, and an hour later he was traded to the then Washington Redskins. I have a long list of stuff that's happened every time I buy a jersey or get a jersey. I remember buying a Drew Brees jersey, and then he had the thumb injury, I think it was. I remember buying a Larry Fitzgerald jersey, then he decided to retire or not retire. Then the Cardinals didn't re-sign him. Um, I had Jimmy Graham jersey, then he got traded to the Seahawks. I have a lot of jerseys. I have 100 jerseys now, one for all 32 teams too. Yeah, I've had a lot of bad juju when it comes to jerseys, actually wearing them on game week. So I don't wear them on game week. Another one, Carson Wentz, when he tore his ACL, I was wearing a Carson Wentz jersey when that basically the whole week going into the Rams game. So yeah, I don't wear jerseys on game day anymore or game week. So that's why I wear them during the off season. Off season, I'll wear any Saints, any Eagles, any jersey. But during the season, it's more likely I'm gonna wear other teams' jerseys, not Saints or Eagles, because I don't want anything to happen to them. Um, so let's dive right back into things. Panthers at Saints week one. I'm gonna do a recap of just each quarter, and then I'll go over my overview of the game. Uh, First off, Saints first quarter. Saints quarterback Derek Carr threw a 59-yard touchdown to wide receiver Rashid Shaheed. On the first play on defense, Saints safety Will Harris intercepted Panthers quarterback Bryce Young, which gave New Orleans the ball at the Panthers 40-yard line. Saints kicker Blake Grupe made a 57-yard field goal, and Derek Carr threw a 3-yard touchdown to tight end Foster Moreau. Second quarter came in. Blake Grupe kicked a 44-yard field goal on a Panthers end around. Saints safety Tyrann Mathieu forced a fumble on Panthers wide receiver Jonathan Mingo, and Mathieu recovered it at the Panthers 43-yard line. Blake Grupe made a 52-yard field goal. Derek Carr threw a 16-yard touchdown to tight end Jawan Johnson, and Panthers kicker Eddie Pinheiro kicked a 43-yard field goal, and the Saints led 30-3 at halftime. My goodness. Third quarter, Bryce Young threw an interception to Saints safety Jordan Howden, who gave the Saints the ball at their own 43-yard line. Saints running back Alvin Kamara ran in a 1-yard touchdown. Bryce Young ran in a 3-yard touchdown. And fourth quarter, Blake Grupe kicked a 39-yard field goal. Juwan Johnson blocked a Johnny Hecker punt, setting the Saints up with possession at the Carolina 36-yard line. Saints running back Jamal Williams ran in a 14-yard touchdown. Panthers turned the ball over on downs, back-to-back drives. Saints wide receiver Cedric Wilson muffed a punt, and tight end Felipe Franks of the Panthers recovered it for the Panthers at the Saints 45-yard line. but ultimately the Saints would win 47 to 10. Some Saints inactives for this game. A.T. Perry was inactive. A little interesting there. Spencer Rattler was more of an emergency quarterback in this situation, which I guess Jake Hayner is the backup. I didn't think we would see him today. We did, for a good reason. Kalen Saunders was inactive, another pretty big inactive. DeMarco Jackson, and was obviously dealing with the injury. Jalen Ford and Dallin Holker and Holker. I've never heard anyone actually pronounce his name before, but I will try to learn that this week. John Ridgway the third also was the final inactive for the Saints. Uh, going off, this was a delight. Holding on the opening kickoff for the Saints was laughable. In the moment, I'm thinking, oh, here we go again with the penalties. Yeah, I mean, opening kickoff, you get a holding call. That's kind of what I expected. The throw and the catch to Rashid Shaheed on the touchdown was, oh my goodness. That's something I'll think about probably for the rest of Derek Carr's time in New Orleans. Maybe the rest of Rashid Shaheed's time in New Orleans. It was a great ball, great catch. I mean, that was on the outstretched hands of Rashid Shaheed, so he was fighting for that. It was just a great play overall. Carr's deep pass to Shaheed on the second drive could have been a touchdown if it was just a couple inches further. Um, a great play by the Panthers DB on that. Um, Taylor Moton, the tackle for the Panthers. I sent this to Austin, our Panthers administrator, uh, and because it's so funny. Bryce Young's running around scrambling for his life, and he runs into Taylor Moton, who just throws him down. It was so funny. It was hilarious to watch. That's just, oh man, it's funny to even think about. And then the Saints posted it on social media afterwards. It's just so funny. This offense looks awesome schematically. With a lot more creativity, a lot more usage of the fullback in this game, than I've ever seen, even in the preseason. I was not expecting this. If you told me we're going to beat the Panthers, and I'd probably say, all right, 28-10, maybe. I think the defense did what I expected them to do against the Panthers offense. It was the offense that just wowed me. Um, Clint Kubiak better not be doing this good for the rest of the season, or he's going to have a head coaching job soon. And I don't want to see him go. At this point, promote him the head coach, have Dennis Allen be the defensive coordinator. There we go. Um, Carr's second touchdown was across his body over the middle of the field. Please don't do that again, Derek Carr. That was he got a little lucky. I think against better secondaries, you're probably throwing an interception there. I watched Jalen Hurts basically do the same thing. Um, Taysom Hill is getting the ball every way possible. I love it. Just get him to throw the ball, run the ball, block at fullback, block at tight end, block at wide receiver, block in the slot. Do whatever go catch the ball at wide receiver, tight end, running back. I don't care. Taysom Hill's he might have a career. He's probably gonna have a career year. I've been saying this. That just him in this offense just fits. I mean, he's when he's at fullback, he's basically playing the guy Kyle Juszczyk role with the 49ers. And when he's at tight end, he's basically George Kittle. And when he's at receiver, he's basically Debo Samuel. Um, and I'm not saying Taysom's to that level. I'm saying his skill set presents those capabilities, that you can use him the way those guys are used. Uh, it got so loud in there that refs couldn't hear each other with how loud the fans were at the end of the first quarter. In the first quarter, it was basically over. Alontae Taylor with a clutch sack on third and long, 3 times in the game, and he tied the NFL record for sacks by a defensive back in a game with three. What a he came out of nowhere. And Alontae Taylor's our third corner. It's just insanity. The entire game was insanity. Defense played perfection. If you want to criticize anything, maybe nothing in the run defense. They couldn't pass the ball. I don't know, Bryce Young's scrambling ability, trying to keep him in the pocket, I guess. I don't know. The defense just played really well, and I think when they got the lead, they were playing more comfortable. They were playing, letting a lot of underneath stuff, and that's when you get those couples that touchdown there. Um, but I mean, defense just played great. Uh, First time under Dennis Allen that the Saints scored on the first three drives on offense. Uh, just fantastic game on offense too. If there's any criticism, I want to see more. I see Derek maybe throw. I don't even know. Throw over the middle of the field a little more. Um, I mean, try to be a little more accurate on some of those passes because if you put a little bit more air on the one pass that I mentioned, the Rashid Shaheed on the second drive, you could probably had another touchdown, Rashid Shaheed. Rashid Shaheed played had a he's just really reliable. We're talking about probably a breakout candidate this year for the Saints. Olave still looks great. Um, Foster Moreau was used a lot, which was kind of shocking. But I was also extremely glad to see Jawan Johnson getting usage because I know Jawan's ceiling is a lot higher than Foster Moreau's, and I think Moreau is a better blocker, which is why he's out there more often. But if Jawan Johnson can get going, then that can be a scary tight end duo to have. Um, Also, franchise record for points in the first quarter of an opener. That's the most random stat ever. Offensive line surprised me a lot. That was the most surprising part. It was not Derek Carr, not Derek Carr at all. It was the offensive line. The offensive line played phenomenal, so much better than they did in the preseason. So much better. I don't know. What I saw in the preseason was nothing. I didn't see any of this. So, and you're playing against the Panthers that their best position is their interior defensive line with Derek Brown, who it sucks he got hurt. He's done for the year. Ashawn Robinson and um, former Saint, Shy Tuttle. I mean that's a big group right to have, and Saints were just running. It didn't matter, really did not matter. I think, and I told our Panthers administrator Austin, I think the reason this game went the way it did was because the Saints didn't show any of this in the preseason. They didn't show any of this. So when you are watching film you're watching that film in the preseason of tendencies, schemes, plays, stuff like that, and also last year, and this offense doesn't look anything like that. So they just weren't ready. Nobody, and so I understand. I'm sure the next time the Saints and Panthers play, it's probably going to be a little closer. Um, I still kind of expect the same result though. But yeah, offensive line just surprised the heck out of me. Trevor Penning was phenomenal. Not a lot of penalties. I don't remember if there even was. I think I'm pretty sure there was a penalty, but offensive line just was phenomenal on all aspects. And Lucas Patrick got hurt, and that didn't affect them at all. So great, just a fantastic job by the offensive line. Um, they're doing. Let's see. There's still some minor issues. Just timing, I guess, with some of the blocks. That's really it. Alontae Taylor, yeah, I kept saying Alontae Taylor gets a sack on another third and long. Alontae Taylor gets another sack on a third and long. Alontae Taylor just played phenomenal, and to think that he's our third best corner on their team, and we haven't even gotten the Kool-Aid. Um, Rashid Shaheed took a punt return with about a minute and a half left in the first quarter, 47 yards to the Panthers' 16-yard line. I mean, he's gonna be a breakout candidate this year. For he might end up being in the Pro Bowl as a returner. He's being able to get used on special teams as a kick returner, punt returner, and then on at wide receiver. He's probably gonna get end arounds a lot. I mean, he's gonna be used quite a bit. Um, let's see. Lucas Patrick had the toe injury, and he did not return. Again, didn't affect them. And Jake Haener came in at quarterback with under 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Oh my goodness! So it got to the point Jake Haener was coming in with 7 minutes left. Unbelievable. It's just a great way to start the season. Now, I I'm saying it very enthusiastically, but I'm not really as excited. Like it's not we played the Panthers. Saints played the Panthers. Let's get that out of the way. The Panthers, I at no point did I think anything they did this offseason would make them dramatically better. You add Canales, right? I don't think Bryce Young is the issue. I think Bryce Young is a solid quarterback. I think he can get the job done in Carolina if you give him the right pieces. The issue is the right pieces. Canales trying to rejuvenate Bryce Young and make him like Geno and Baker Mayfield. That's not the issue. The issue is the players that they have. And I don't really talk about the other team very often, but I think it's very important to talk about the Panthers because of how dominant the Saints were. Um, you add Deontay Johnson. I've never really been a big fan of Deontay Johnson. I think he's been a solid wide receiver too. Um, and Adam Thielen, even at his old age, he's still a solid receiver. And I think again, he can be a very good wide receiver too for a team. Uh, Tight end position, you add Jatavion Sanders. We're zero now in the Panthers. He's tight end, which I thought was a great addition against the Saints. Saints do well against tight ends all the time, so like I expected that. I also expected the run defense to be that good. You're playing against Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders, who have not ran the ball very well. Um, and yeah, I mean, you had was it Xavier Legette, Legette, Legette. I think it's Legette. Um, also, I haven't heard his name said out loud before, so I'll try to research his name for the next time I mention the Panthers. I apologize for that. Um, so I mean, you're giving him weapons, but nothing too mind blowing. Like you really sent DJ Moore last year to the Chicago Bears, and DJ Moore is a good weapon. He can be a wide receiver one, and you gave up on that. That was your best weapon. So yeah, you helped out getting an offensive line. Congratulations. Canales, when he was with Seattle, had DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. When Canales was with Tampa Bay, he had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Those are two of the top duos of the last 5 years in the NFL. Whether you like it or not, whether you like DK Metcalf or not, whether you think that highly of like Godwin and Evans or not, those are two top duos in the entire NFL. Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen are not them at all. So, yeah, I mean, there are other areas you could have helped him out at, and I just don't think they helped him out at all. I do agree with Panthers fans that going into this year, the defense is still good. Yes, the defense schematically was good. But schematically they are. That scheme can't necessarily keep going forever, especially when the talent pool starts to drop or people start to age. So yeah, I get that. Um, I mean, good luck this season. I think going into the year, I at no point did I think the Saints were going to finish under the Panthers. Yeah, I think they're going to have issues with Atlanta and Tampa Bay, and I didn't have the Saints winning the division. I think looking at this game, this gave me hope, a lot more hope than I thought. I wanted Derek Carr to get the starting job. I said I don't want Spencer Rattler given this starting job. I still want to see Derek Carr, and I'm so glad I said that. I'm so glad I said that all off season because I know that there's good in Derek Carr. I know there's good in him. And we've seen it before. We've seen the MVP candidate with the Raiders. It's just I mean the last couple of years haven't been good, but also terrible offensive coordinator. I'm so glad Clint Kubiak's on our team. Blake Groupie. Wow. Blake Groupie. I didn't know you had that leg in you. Um 57-yard field goal and had one of the best weeks by all kickers. I picked him up in fantasy because I didn't expect that out of him. Great week for Blake Grupe. I think he needed this, especially in the competition we had this offseason and preseason. He definitely deserved this. This was a huge win in his book. As long as you aren't missing chip shots, you should be the kicker for the Saints for a while. That was and I'm not going to overreact to that because it's the kicker position. If he fails me, then that's on me. Otherwise, yeah, just a fantastic game. Saints are playing the Cowboys tomorrow. I mean, who knows? You might see this tonight. You might see this tomorrow morning. I'll try to get this posted tonight. Uh, but playing against the Cowboys, I'm worried. Um, I really want to beat the Cowboys though. I hate the Cowboys so much. Yeah, in Dallas or Arlington. Uh, I mean, I think defensively, I mean, Lattimore's probably not going to be playing. I saw a reporter say that CD Lamb is going to get what do you say, 80 points in fantasy this week because Lattimore's not there. Um, have you seen games where Lattimore wasn't there the last couple of years? Because the secondary still plays very well. Paulson and Debo, all right. CD Lamb's an all-pro wide receiver. I get that. I just traded for him in fantasy, if the trade goes through, and in our dynasty league. So, but I mean, I think CeeDee Lamb is gonna play like CeeDee Lamb, but I don't think it's gonna be like that big. And if I'm wrong and he goes for like 200 yards and like four touchdowns, then I guess I'm wrong. But the way the Saints defense has always been schemed out, I'm not that worried. Their main issue is the Cowboys defense versus the Saints offense. Is can the Saints did they have more trickery, more creativity in their offense to play against the Cowboys? They're gonna have to handle a a pass rush, a front defensive line that is a great defensive line. Um, they're gonna have Trayvon Diggs is gonna be on should be on Chris Olave. Uh, Jordan Lewis should be on Rashid Shaheed, which that would be interesting. I think Shaheed's speed can really take advantage of that matchup. Um, and in terms of running the ball, I do think the Saints can run. If the Saints can run as like they did in Week 1, they should have no problem running against the Cowboys. Uh, the issue is passing. I think the key matchup to look at is how the Saints offensive line responds this to Cowboys defensive line, and thus how does Derek Carr react to that? How does he react to the pressure? Um, I don't worry too much about the Saints. I don't think the Cowboys run offense is that great. I think they have stars from 5 years ago with Zeke, Dalvin Cook's there, Rico Dowell's there too. But that's really it. Yeah, I think I mean if the Saints win this one, I had as a loss going into the year. I also didn't expect this big of a week one. So it's possible that the Saints overlook they think too highly of themselves after destroying the Panthers, and then they just get their butts whooped week two, regardless of who they're playing, whether it's the Cowboys or someone else. But it's the Cowboys now. And the Cowboys, they whoop the Browns. So it's possible that both teams go in this thinking so highly of themselves that it comes down to scheme. Um, and we might see an upset in that case. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game. Nervous. I'm not really nervous a lot for regular season games. I just want even if the Saints were to lose, I just want to see Derek Carr play somewhat like he did last week, and I want the offensive line to hold up. Um, if Derek Carr looks like he did last year, then I know week one was a fluke. Um, Also, at some point, please promote Rattler to QB2, not Hayner. Please don't put Hayner as QB2. This is what the Eagles are going through with Kenny Pickett being ahead of Tanner McKee. I hate it so much. So, hopefully the Saints can get out the W against the Cowboys. I'm really hoping for it. So, hopefully next week Saints are 2-0. But until then, see you next week. Go Saints.